Good morning. Welcome back to my Real Rate series. My name is Darnic, and today we're going to be covering double nature runes, one of my all-time favorite money-making methods, and really just for the nostalgia of it all. They were my first big boy money maker in old school RuneScape and were a pipe dream for me as a little kid back in RS2. So, without further ado, we'll start off with the gear and equipment needed for double nature runes. So now we're going to go over some of the gear and equipment needed to do double nature runes. So the first thing is very obvious and is probably the hardest barrier to entry for double nats is that 91 rune crafting that is required to be able to craft 2 at a time. Now if you just want to do 1 at a time, you can do that with 44. It's not the best money and it's the same experience, but I really wouldn't recommend it. If it's your only option, then sure, go for it. The next thing that is required is going to be that Abyss mini quest, the Enter the Abyss. That's going to be used to be able to enter it at all. It just takes about 15 minutes, so just search up a guide and knock that out really quickly. The next thing is going to be 70 plus mining and agility is recommended from me. Now, if you don't have that, it's not the end of the world, but it's going to help you get through the abyss so much quicker and so much less frustrating. Sitting there clicking that 4 or 5 times to try to get through one of those obstacles is so infuriating. So I would totally recommend that. Next, I'm going to just go ahead and say you're going to need 70 plus defense and HP. If you don't have that, you're just totally going to get whacked out by those minions when you're clicking on things to get through it. And if you don't, you're going to be in the bracket to be able to get PK'd by mid-level PKers and pures. So totally would not recommend having less than 70 plus defense and HP. Now, if you're a pure or your account's restricted for whatever reason, sure, hey, go for it. But if you're a main, I would wait till you have 70 plus. It does not take long at all. Just go ahead and bang that out before you head into the abyss. Next is some of the gear that I recommend. Firstly is a black pickaxe. You can buy those off the Grand Exchange, super cheap, but I would never use anything above rune or rune itself. It's just too expensive. It's going to draw attention to you and it doesn't give any benefit whatsoever. Black is the best as it has no weight. And I think Mithril's next. So you can use that if you don't want to use black for whatever reason. The next thing is a shield. You can use like an elemental shield or an anti-fire shield. The best shield that I think personally to use is the Valley Shield 4 or the Valley Shield 3, as they both give a prayer restoration once a day. So you can use that and then protect item so PKers can't get your glory. The next thing is the highest level rune pouch you can use, and at level 75 you can use all of those, so I would aim for that. If you don't have 75, obviously use whatever you can use up to that, but try to get to 75 to use all of those. And the final thing is to use Graceful if you have that 70 plus defense and HP requirement like I was speaking about before. It saves you so much on stamina potions or energy pots if you're using those. And if you don't have that for whatever reason, if you don't have the 70 defense, then I would just use some D'hide and like a Helm of Netzinot is perfectly fine, and that should stop any PKers from fucking with you. So on that note, you're also going to need a glory to be able to teleport to Edgeville. And you can use a Ring of Dueling in your ring slot. So if you forget, you're not paying attention, you're zoned out doing it, whatever, you miss the charges on the glory, you'll still have the Ring of Dueling to teleport to the Castle Wars Bank. And then some mid-level food. I just use monkfish and tuna sometimes. It's just something to get your HP up because those creatures do smack you over time. I don't know the max it exactly. I want to say it's 12, and they can stack that as you're clicking through the obstacle. So you could have like 2 12s back to back. So just make sure you have some food with you and you all should be good. So with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and start the 3 hours. Hey guys, if y'all made it this far through the video, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps out the channel a lot. Gets my video out there to even more people. Also, if y'all have any ideas or anything you want me to do for the Real Rate series, go ahead and comment that below and I'll go check it out. I'll continue on with the video. All right, with the intro out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get started with the 3 hours of nature runes. The starting experience that we're starting at is 13,235,293 experience, what we're starting at. And I want to say I have some nats already in the bank. You have around 2,000. So we'll subtract that from the total and we're going to go ahead and get started. A bunch of pure essence ready. It's going to give me flashbacks to doing 91. Did 91 all the way to 94, all in nature runes. So anyways, going to throw on a movie and we'll get to it. All right, boys, the timer is up. The 1 hour is done and we're back at the bank now. finished that last run. It's giving me flashbacks to doing that running through. It's not awful. I don't really mind it. You can completely just zone out once you get into the rhythm of it. But my fingers and my clicks were definitely off a little bit. So saying that, the XP we gained was 26,114 experience in this first hour. If I remember correctly, I used to average around 27,000. So now that we're warmed up, we're gonna try to hit that. And for the amount of nats, I have not done actual straight math in a while without a calculator. So we started with 1999, so we've got roughly 5,000-ish. But luckily I'll have a calculator towards the end of the video. We'll actually be able to calculate it all out. But with all that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and start the timer and get that second hour underway. All right, boys, we're finishing up the second hour. We have 8 seconds left, so we're totally not gonna make it this run. So we're gonna disqualify whatever runes come through here. But I want to go ahead and list the XP. Yeah, boom, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and list the XP. We're at exactly 27,000, which is pretty much the maximum I've ever really gotten. So after we got warmed up, it's pretty easy to go through that. So hopefully we can continue in the last hour, getting about 27,000 as well, which around, that's about 1.1 mil. Gold an hour doing it like that. So we'll knock out this last hour. I'll go ahead and get to the bank real quick. Man, RuneLight makes this so much easier than it used to be. Just holding that shift click on there and then teleport. I'm pretty sure you can switch that as well, but I haven't done that. But back in the day, like having to have the pouches down here and right clicking, it's a big change. So without that though, we have about 13,000. So we made it about another 5-ish thousand in that hour. So anyways, gonna go ahead and knock out that last hour and I'll get back to you all. All right, fellas, coming up on the end of the third hour. Just doing one more and we'll teleport back and see what we ended up with. This hour looking like we got about 26.7k XP an hour, which is not bad. It's not the 27 we were looking for, but it totally works. So after depositing those, we have a total of 20,000. Started with around 2,000, so it's looked like we made almost 8,000 nature runes. So we're just gonna go ahead and take those out, 18,000. Take those out, get a nice little price check really quickly. So 3.4 mil, not bad for 3 hours of work. And I'll go ahead and calculate the experience and put that on screen now. So you all should be able to see that. And that is from 3 hours of double nature runes. And I'll split that in thirds and give the per hourly rate. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's a pretty chilled super AFK method. The big issue, the big caveat with all of it is actually hitting that 91 rune crafting, which is awful. Totally get it. So would I actually recommend it? No. If you have the time to get 91 rune crafting, you can totally do Vorkath or Zulrah in the time spent. And honestly, I would just do Bloods all the way till 95. And then if you really want to make money, do Wrath runes. But that'll be the end of this video. If you all did like it, go ahead and hit that like button and comment below other suggestions for the Real Rate series. The next one I plan on doing is Vorkath and then some brutal black dragons. Get out of the rune crafting shtick and go ahead and knock out some combat ones. So thanks for watching.